Now, there's been, of course, tributes that have been pouring in since the passing of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and a lot of people having a lot to say about his legacy. You think, for example, the community of Boipatong, who some are saying that, his passing has left them numb and they're still trying to reel from what happened in the past. Others are saying that they're hailing him for his various contributions on various aspects. You think politically, you think in the Amazulu nation as well. But let's speak now to Contralesa President Kgoshi Mathuba Mokoena. Thank you so much, Kgoshi, for your time this evening. Let's start with your reaction.
Thanks very much, Bongiwe. We received the passing of Ubuntu, of his passing with shock and disbelief. As Contralesa, Bongiwe, want to say the role that he played will never be erased by anyone. As Contralesa, we still remember vividly, because fortunately, Kgoshi Mokoena, I was one of those delegates at Contralesa, where he fought gallantly that the role of traditional leadership be clarified in the Constitution. And I know, Bongiwe, that there were many political parties who did not want traditional leaders to play a meaningful role in the new dispensation. He fought against that. Because of his influence, we ended up being part of the new Constitution. We know during Contralesa, Bongiwe, parties ganged up against traditional leaders and removed the customary law clause that was there in the interim constitution. I remember very well because I was there representing Amakosi in the then Transvaal, where they even deployed David de Villiers to preside over that session at Contralesa when the customary law clause was removed. It's so painful that we had to, as Amakosi, form a coalition of traditional leaders and marched to union building. Marching not because we were bored as Amakosi, but because we wanted a recognition by our new government and wanted our role to be clarified. But unfortunately, it was not to be. Even now, if you look at section 211, 212 of the Constitution, only 19 sentences that talks about traditional leaders. Umntwana fought very hard because of his influence. We had some benefits here and there, even though it's not enough. We are saying as Contralesa, our encyclopedia is gone, our legend is gone, our dictionary is gone. Kgoshi Buthelezi will not compromise what he believes in. Therefore, as Contralesa, we're going to miss his contribution in the fight against the suppression of the role of traditional leadership. Bongiwe.
And Kgoshi, I'm sure you've seen in the public domain, as many continue to speak about his legacy, his life, and many recollections of him in various facets of his life. But some, have painful recollections. For example, we have a story, here on the channel around the community of Boipatong, for example, who victims of the massacre, for them say that, his passing has left them numb, while others are calling him an apartheid defender, and others are saying that he was a liberator. And I wonder how has Contralesa, received all of this that is being said about him?
As Africans, there is what we call Ubuntu. My sins can't follow me to the grave. If there is anyone who can claim that they are clean, we still have to see that person. All political parties, they've got the Somalian skeletons, as one politician said one day. There is no way in which they can now want to vilify Umntwana simply because of some of the mistakes that happened. Some of us, Bongi, were in politics for a very long time. We know things. If we had to say things now, the whole world will be shocked. So people must stop this thing because, yes, if he committed some mistakes, then he's a human being. But there's no way in which when he wants to be sent off peacefully, people are digging their graves of things that happened. Yes, we agree. There were horrible incidents or sins then, before the new government. There were fights everywhere. But anyone who will say he is clean and Umdwana is the only one who had sinned. And some of us can expose some of the leaders we know. Some are in government as we speak. Therefore, want to, as Contralesa, call upon our people, please, let us dump Ubuntu. When someone has passed on, let's respect this person so that his soul can rest in peace. Bongiu.
And I suppose then, Kgoshi, one would then say, do we then still have the conversations that speak to the truth of the legacy that someone leaves behind? I was in conversation with, for example, Professor Pitika Ntuli, who was saying this all speaks to the mixed legacy that one leaves behind. So I suppose then one could say there should always be a true reflection of the legacy?
Yes, while we cannot hide other things that happened then, as Contralesa, we agree. But what we are saying is, as leadership, let's leave a legacy that anyone will be proud of. Let's try by all means. Yes, you might there be some flip-flop here and there, but as a leader, let's try by all means to live a decent life, so that even when we are no more, people are not embarrassed to talk about you. But as Contralesa, we are saying, we're talking about the Nkosi who has passed on here. Nkosi who led these people with dignity and pride. Nkosi who led this organization. And we are saying, look at what happened at the Zulu kingdom. If it was not his influence, I don't know what was going to happen to that royalty there.
And Kgoshi,
some of us, yes,
pardon me for coming in there. There's something you are touching on right now that I'd like us to touch on as we wrap up very briefly then. This particular matter of the AmaZulu nation, it comes at a time where we saw, even before our eyes, what appeared to be tensions between, him as Prime Minister, traditional Prime Minister that is, and the King, and a number of those, who've been watching this, saying that they would have hoped that this matter would have been resolved before his passing. And I wonder, what impact do you think this is going to have on the nation going forward?
Of course, it caused some rifts, because there are those who believed what Umntwana was saying was correct, and there are those who still believe that His Majesty King Misizulu, the decision that he took was correct. Now, what was lacking here, you were lacking an elder who will come between the two leaders who are very influential to say, can't we stop this toying and throwing in the best interest of the Zulu nation? As a unifier, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, he tried by all means to make sure that there is peace in that royalty. Unfortunately, as human beings, we had to differ here and there. Yeah. But it is a pity and unfortunate that Umntwana had to pass on before there was this reconciliation between him and Isilo, King Misizulu. It is unfortunate, but we hope those who are remaining behind, as we said, there will be some elders who will try to navigate that let there be peace in the Zulu nation. Bongiu.
Kgoshi, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening. That is Contralesa President Kgoshi Mathuba Mokoena. On that note, let's check in with the sports desk. Oli Stadeban.